Today's video is all about Russell Wilson and a potential redemption tour in 2023. But let's get some good vibes going here. Let's get the football gods on Russell Wilson's side. Hit that thumbs up button. It might seem a bit cheesy because it frankly is a bit cheesy. But at this point, I don't think we can leave any stone unturned after last year. So don't be the one guy that doesn't like it, and then the season gets off to a shitty start, and you only have yourself to blame. Coming up on today's show, I've got 5 reasons to believe that Russell Wilson will bounce back in 2023. So welcome into the Broncos Breakdown by Chat Sports. We're going to go through each of my 5 reasons, but I think a good starting point for this conversation is what's going on in Vegas, because the comeback player of the year odds have Russell Wilson kind of in that number 2/3 spot, whatever, in a multi-weight tie with Breece Hall, Tua, Lamar. Let's be honest, if Damar Hamlin suits up for even one snap, he's winning comeback player of the year. That's just a already determined thing here. But Russell Wilson would be a very viable, candidate for how poorly he played last year. Not a comeback because of an injury, which has sort of been the name of the game for winning the award lately, but because of what we remember Russell Wilson as, and then not seeing any of that version in 2022, first year in Denver. So I have 5 reasons why I think Russell Wilson could bounce back this year. And my first reason is the Sean Payton effect. Any English majors out there right now, let me know if I use the right E or A for effect there. But Sean Payton definitely is going to bring a lot of good things to the table. And Sean Payton is going to turn Russell Wilson around for a couple of reasons. I can almost guarantee that. But one big reason is he's done this before. Now, it's not apples to apples, but he turned around Drew Brees. Now, it is a good reminder that Brees was not bad with the Chargers, but you can see the uptick he had in his first season in the Big Easy with Sean Payton, casually adding on 900 more yards, more touchdowns, fewer interceptions, better rating. The Sean Payton effect was awesome for Drew Brees. They got to the NFC Championship game in their first year working together. And if you want to take a bigger step back and look at Drew Brees, the 3 seasons prior he went to New Orleans, and then the first 3 seasons in New Orleans, you can really see stretched out what a big turnaround his career had working with Sean Payton. Everything got better. Completion percentage, yards per game, touchdowns, interceptions, rating. And it's very similar amount of games played between those time periods of pre-Sean Payton and post-Sean Payton. But Drew Brees is not the only quarterback that Sean Payton has done wonders for. Teddy Bridgewater, I looked it up, has made a lot of money in the NFL since he started 5 games for the Saints back in 2019 and went a perfect 5-0 to keep the ship afloat when Drew Brees went down. And it probably helped having Sean Payton on the sidelines, because that Teddy Bridgewater, well, he wasn't really there in Carolina, and that's what the Panthers thought they were going to get. And then the same goes for Denver not long ago, right, where we all thought we'd be getting this 5-0, 10 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, Teddy Bridgewater, and that was not the case either. So Sean Payton is going to get the best out of Russell Wilson. That much I am certain of, because Russell Wilson simply can't be worse than last year. I just don't see a way that's possible. But more importantly, Sean Payton is the man for the job when it comes to turning quarterbacks around a little bit. Drew Brees was not in a Hall of Fame path coming out of San Diego at the time, right? Teddy Bridgewater was 1 or 2 seasons away from being out of the NFL. Now look where Drew Brees is, and look how much longer Teddy Bridgewater's career was extended because of 5 starts with Sean Payton. That's the Sean Payton effect, and I think it is going to pay off with Russell Wilson. So speaking of comeback player of the year, do you guys think that Russ could win it? It'll be hard to not dethrone, but to beat out Damar Hamlin for it because of the obvious here. But let me know if you think Russ could win comeback player of the year. Type Y for yes or N for no down at the pinned comment. My second bounce back season reasoning is a much improved offensive line, right? Put Sean Payton to the side for a moment. Look at this new offensive line. 2 new starters in Ben Powers and Mike McGlinchey. A returning Pro Bowl caliber tackle in Garett Bolles. Quinn Meinerz enters another season getting better and better. And then there's Lloyd. Say something nice about Lloyd. He's a championship center, right? He won a title with LSU, so being nice to Lloyd, being nice to Cush. But 4 really good starters right there, but it's not just about the starting lineup. It's about hopefully staying healthy, because that was not the case last year. Russell Wilson has always been a quarterback who has been running for his life, and that's just part of the business when you're Russ, because you like to extend plays a lot. But you can see that he lost his starting left tackle for 12 games. Dalton Risner missed 2 games. Cushenberry missed 9 games, which was kind of a blessing in disguise because, let's be honest, Glasgow was better last year at center anyway. But Quinn Meinerz missed 4 games. He had a brief IR stint. And Billy Turner missed half the season. His 2 starting tackles missed majority of the games last year, right? His starting center was out for majority of the season. The best offensive lineman on this team, Quinn Meinerz, last year, missed a quarter of the season. So there are a lot of reasons to believe that if this group is healthy and now improved with Ben Powers and Mike McGlinchey, it's going to be a very different case in Denver this upcoming season. Powers comes over from Baltimore. He's one of the better guards in football. Mike McGlinchey, a former first-round pick for the 49ers. He's going to hold down the right side of the offensive line. You get Bolles back. You have Quinn Meinerz, who's an up-and-coming guard. He's one of my favorite players on this team. If this offensive line, these starting 5, they stay healthy, or at least healthier than last year, it's going to be night and day difference for Russell Wilson. My third reasoning for an improved season for Russ is better play calling, right? Sean Payton's going to come in here. He's calling the plays, no doubt about it. But it's more than just having Sean Payton on the sideline that's going to make quarterbacks better. It's the play calling. It's something he talked about when he was on Colin Cowherd's show during the fall last year about playing the hits. He said, I'd want a cut up of all Russell's passive plays of 30 or more yards from the field, and I'd want to see, are there some schemes that he felt very comfortable with? Like, I know they did a great job in Seattle of bringing him off a naked bootleg and then pulling up, and we all saw that, like throwback to Lockett across the field where the ball traveled 60 yards in the air. Then I'd want to look at another film of his red zone touchdown passes inside the 20. And so what I'm asking for from assistants, I'm asking for some of his greatest hits and to make sure we have those song lyrics available. And if not, let's put them in. This was something that Hackett really struggled to do, right? When you look at his passer rating from his spray chart, if you will, from 2022, you can see Russell Wilson really struggled over the middle of the field. Now, he's never been the best middle of the field quarterback, and Sean Payton's going to help with that because Drew Brees, another short king, was not always the best, 20 yards directly in front of him. But look at what Russell Wilson did just 1 year prior, right? In 2021, his throw chart was much better over the middle of the field, right? Sean Payton's going to come in here and he's going to dial up the hits, the plays, the song lyrics that Russ did so well in Seattle that were missing from the album last year called Nathaniel Hackett 2022. That is what I'm talking about when it comes to different play calling and much improved play calling. Going back to what Russell Wilson did best, right? The boundary throws down the sideline and not forcing him and asking him to do much over the middle of the field where he's not at his best. Now, we have 2 more reasons to look at in just a moment, but we have an awesome deal with our friend at Fanatics. They are giving you guys a short-term, not lasting forever, sale on the Broncos Retro t-shirts. Go to chatsports.com/DEN Retro. Producer Rolly and I always laugh that the owner of Fanatics, Michael Rubin, the white party guy, well, he hates Denver because there's some tough gear they put out for Broncos Country. But this retro shirt is actually really cool. So make sure you get your hands on it today before this deal runs out and while supplies last. My fourth reasoning for a bounce-back year for King Russ is, does talent just vanish overnight? I mean, this is sort of a, very surface-level take here. But when you look at Russell Wilson's stats the last 4 seasons, you can see the dip he had in 2022, down in touchdowns, up in interceptions. Maybe he is just cooked, and Seattle saw this coming, and credit to them because they got an all-time fleece from Denver for a quarterback who was on his way down. But I just struggle to believe that they can't find 75 or 80% of that 40-touchdown quarterback from just 3 years ago. It's not that far removed. He's only 34 years old. Aaron Rodgers was shipped to New York to play with the Jets, and the Jets had a first-round pick swap and some more picks go over. for a quarterback who's pushing 40. So I don't think Russell Wilson is absolutely dead in the water. I think you might not get that 40 touchdown guy anymore, but if you can get 90% of him, you're going to feel pretty good. That's 30 plus touchdowns. That is double what he did this past season. So the ultimate, was it Hackett or was it Wilson debate, will be put to rest this year, because if Sean Payton comes out and Russell Wilson throws for 25, 26 touchdowns and 8 interceptions, we will know, yeah, probably wasn't a good idea to hire Aaron Rodgers as beer buddy and then not get Aaron Rodgers. So I think we're going to put this debate to rest. I think the victim of this debate will be Hackett, the loser, and it will become clear that Russ was not good last year, right? He had a lot of mistakes on his own. The Texans game, I remember he just threw it right into Cushenberry's helmet, like a WTF moment. KJ Hamler wide open in the Colts game. Like, it's not all on Hackett, but I think we're going to learn that it was majority on Hackett. My fifth and final reason for a bounce-back season is the bar just isn't that high, guys. Like, we don't need Russell Wilson to go out there and put up all-pro numbers. He just needs to be better than 16 touchdowns and 11 interceptions. He just needs to throw more than a barely amount of restrooms he has and bathrooms in his house. He just needs to get over 20 touchdowns. If I had to take a swing at what his projected stats could look like this upcoming season, I don't think you're going to see a major uptick in yards, because Sean Payton's going to want to throw the football, and he talked about getting back to what Seattle did to make Russ successful, and they never asked Russ to throw it all that much. But you'll see maybe 24 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. And if that's the case, and if this defense plays like it did last year, where had Denver just scored, I think it was like 14 points, they would have been a playoff team. Well, this will be a very different 2023 campaign. Now, one quick question before we get you guys on out of here. Who was the coach when you became a fan? We've asked this question before in the form of quarterback. Now I'm curious who the coach was when you first became a Broncos fan, whether it was the coach when you were born or when your favorite player got drafted to Denver, whatever made you a fan of the Denver Broncos. Let me know who the coach was at the time. Time for our summer hot takes, and it is a hot day up in Denver. 91 degrees is the high, and that gets us into the first take hot, screaming Stephen A, whatever. No more, I guess it's really not first take hot, Rolly, because we don't have first take anymore. Rest in peace. But here's my first take caliber hot take for this upcoming season. The Broncos produce a Pro Bowl offensive lineman, whether it's Mike McGlinchey or Quinn Meinerz, which might not scream 91-degree hot take, but some trivia here. You can pause the video and think about it for 30 seconds. Do you know the last offensive lineman from Denver to go to the Pro Bowl was? It's been a long time. We're going on nearly a decade since Ryan Clady back in 2014. So I think producing your first Pro Bowl offensive lineman in almost a decade, that's a first take hot caliber take right there. So whether it's McGlinchey or Quinn Meinerz, one of those two guys would be my picks to make the Pro Bowl. Let me know what you guys think about this hot take, whether you think they'll send 1, 2, or 0 in the comment section below. Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you guys later.